Okay, so let's start with Cody. Now, Cody is a platform created by MathWorks. Here you can find thousands of different programming problems, and you can actually solve those problems there. So it's like a programming competition using MATLAB. Now, by solving the problems, you can really hone your programming skill and especially the MATLAB programming skill. So the problems are really good, and there are many interesting problems there. So you can actually start working on that if you have some good understanding of MATLAB programming language. So let me introduce Cody to you. So here, so this is my profile. I used to actually practice on Cody before. So if you go, first you have to create your profile. You have to create your profile. Then if you go to problems here, so let's see. If I go here, so these are the different problems that are available. For beginning, let's sort these problems by oldest to newest. So these are the problems, and by this click sign, that means I have actually already solved those problems. So let's see. Let's start here. This is my first problem. So the problem name is times 2. Start here, and this is the page that will appear. So you can see this is created by the Cody team. Many of the problems are created by Cody users. So you can see who actually created the problems. You can see the difficulty of the problem. So it is very low difficulty. It is the lowest difficulty, very simple problem for beginner. And you can see the question here. So the question is saying try out this problem first. Okay. Given the input variable x, multiply it by 2 and put the results in y. So to solve problems in Cody, you need to have some basic understanding of the MATLAB syntax as well as how MATLAB functions work. So you can see some comments here and see how many people solve this problem. So there are 99,000 solvers of this problem. So that's huge, and these are the solutions. So if you want to solve this problem, just go to solve. A new page will appear. So here you can see the question, and this is where you actually place your solution. Okay, and you can test your solution here. This is the search pad. By running function, I'm going to show you, and these are the test suite that are available. So the problem is if the input is 11, the output is 22. That's what should be 2 times. So if it is -3, it can be also -3. The output is -6. So these are the test suite. There can be 10 or 20 test cases there. As for the function, you can see this is the function that is provided there, and the name of the function is something you cannot change. You have to be careful. Do not edit this line, because based on this line, this test suite will work. So you cannot change the name of the function. You just have to change whatever you have inside. Now, just to quickly show you the MATLAB function works, if you remember the function has an output variable, then you have the function name, and then you have the input variable and whatever statements are there, and you have to finish it with an end. And so this is a example. So if the output variable is y, so the output, you have to place the output in y. So that's how it works, and you can actually have all the relations a and b or whatever you want to have inside. So let's go back. So let's say this is times 2. Now, so here you can see x is given as, I can test it here. So if I just say x is 3, and the y, if I run this function, so you can see the answer is 3, because y is equals to x is written here. So if I write 8 multiplied by x, if I run this function, it is now showing 3 multiplied by 8, that is 24. So the question asks just to put twice, right? So I have to multiply it by 2. So let's just multiply it by 2, and I can see if the input is 3, the output is 6. I can also test if the input is -3, I can test it here. Let's make my input -3. Here x is the input variable that is given here. So if I run it, so you can see the output is -6. Now if I run it, if I change it to a, then it is not going to work, because the input variable is written as -3. But if I change it now, because the input variable is local variable, now you can see it is working. So when you are done with this program, whatever you have to do, just submit it and wait. It is going to run the test cases and see if it is all right. If it is okay, and you can see it is saying that your problem is, you have solved the problem. Okay, and this is your solution, and you have passed all the test cases. Now let's look at another problem there. If we go back, let's try to move another problem. So let's look at here. Let's look at here the column removal. So this is another problem, column removal. It is also created by the Cody team. Now it is asking that remove the nth column from the input matrix A and return the resulting matrix in output B. So I have a matrix given and I have to remove the nth column, and n will also be given there. So n is 2, so the second column I have to remove. So if I want to solve this problem, so there are different ways to solve this problem. Let's see how we can solve this one. Now let's say, so I have to remove the second column, right? So I just can say A of the second column. So all the rows of the second column I have to remove. So I can just say all the rows of the second column is equals to empty. Now if I run this one, this is not going to work, because you see x equals to 3 here, it is just by default it is written here. So you have to change it. You have to change it to your own. Let's change it to some of the test case that we have. So let's say a is equals to magic 4 and is equals to 3. I just copy it. So I just copy it and let's just paste it here. Now if I run this function, let's see if my function works. And you can see a is equals to this. Let me put it here. So this is my original A. After removing this becomes my A. But if I submit it, it is going to show an error. This is going to show an error because you see the output argument B is not assigned, because the output argument is written here as B. I have not assigned to it the output, so I have to say B is equals to A. And now what is the output I am looking for? It is assigned to B. This is the output variable. Now if I run this one, now I will see that all the test cases are okay. Now see, let's see what is the problem. So I have written here 2 specifically. I have to written here as n because the input variable is n. It can be 2, 3, whatever the problem asks. Now if I submit, I will see the test cases are fine. Okay, so I have solved my problem here, you can see. Now I can also the one important thing here, one interesting thing here is that once you've solved the problem, you can actually view the solutions. I have solved the problem, you can actually view the solutions that are available, not before that. So there are many problems that you'll find that are actually really good, and that are really good. So those problems, after you manage to solve the problems, you can look at some of the solutions, some of the best solutions, and that way you can even learn even better that how to solve the problem much more efficiently. That's the interesting part, and that's why that is how I have actually developed my skill as a programmer. So there are, so this is the one I just solved. So this is another solution, this can be another solution someone is solved it. And the size actually means how many that's a different way MATLABs calculate the size. So larger size means if your code is very long, your size will be increased. So always the goal is to reduce the size, reduce the time frame, things like that. So those things actually come later. So you can also let's not focus on this one right now, and let's see one last one. Let's say for instance this one, make a checkerboard matrix. So it is asking there, this is interesting. So this gets interesting as you see, it gets more and more interesting as you see. Given an integer n, I have to make an n by n matrix made by alternating ones and zeros. Okay, so this is something interesting, how to make something like this, because we don't have any default function to work it out like this way, so we have to do something different. So that's the thought process, you have to think how we can solve this problem. Okay, you can try your different ways. You can try it on your local MATLAB in your computer, then actually you can just paste the solution there. Okay, so that's the way you actually solve the problems. And once you've done, and definitely look at the some of the solutions that are actually available, because that will actually, you can compare how others have actually tackled the problem, and that's how you can actually improve your uh, programming skill, MATLAB programming skill in particular, using coding. Okay, so there are different ways to solve this problem. And if you go here, let's move a little bit. So problems, after you have solved some of the problems, you have to move on. You can see the problem groups, there are different problems groups are there. If you want to like focus on something specific, okay, for instance, if you interested, so this is draw letters. Okay, this is one, another one, date and time, another one on the strings. Okay, let's see three problems group. Problem groups are where you have find a specific type of problems. So this is curated by GOC3 is the profile name, and you can see draw how using MATLAB how you can actually draw something like this. You have to create a matrix like this. So this how you can actually create a matrix like this. So these are the problems that falls within these pro letters. So you can actually solve all the problems. If you manage to solve all the problems in a problem group, you get a badge. So for instance, this one, draw letters masters, I have completed this group. So similarly, you can find here date and time too. This is actually curated by me. So this is related to how to work with date and time. So this is a specific data type they are available. So how to actually do those things. So you can find similar problems of that type here. So this was and also strings tree. So if you like working with string, regular expression, things like that, you will find some of the very interesting problems on the strings. So you have strings 1, strings 2, string 3. So these are interesting, and you can check the difficulty level. Some of them can be very difficult. For instance, this one, the 11 string distance. So this one is a bit different, and they can also impose some of the condition that you cannot use built-in functions. Some of the built-in functions that makes the task very easy, they might impose those rules so that you cannot actually use those built-in functions rather than code by yourself. That will improve your skill even further. So try it by yourself, and I hope if you actually try to solve this problem, it will definitely hone your skills significantly. Okay, so by solving, like if you solve 500 problems, 1000 problems, definitely it is going to improve you a lot. Okay, hope this is okay, and if you have any questions, you can definitely ask me.